Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc have unleashed sheer mayhem behind closed doors at Maranello just before the summer shutdown, leaving Fred Vasseur pinned firmly against the wall. While Ferrari may have pipped Mercedes by 7 points across the last 5 rounds, both drivers recognize this as nothing more than an engineering illusion masked by the agonizing mechanical failures of Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
Yes, first day out on track here at Spa. How do you sum it up from your side and Ferrari's side today?
Pretty good day. In general, positive. We made steps forward. Relatively clean sessions. Made a couple of changes into P2. The gap is seems a bit bigger today than, at least in P2, than anticipated. But hopefully we can try and close that tomorrow. But overall, we generally feel good.
Hamilton clawed back the leader's advantage to 50 points after taking victory in Spain, yet he immediately delivered a scathing ultimatum, demanding absolute guarantees that the Scuderia will not allow the development of the SF26 to grind to a halt. This internal pressure at Ferrari has escalated to unprecedented levels because raw telemetry never lies. Hamilton's triumphs in Barcelona and Leclerc's win at Silverstone occurred solely because the 350 kilowatt energy storage unit and the wheel deflector on Antonelli's car suffered catastrophic breakdowns. Had those retirements not occurred, the Italian prodigy's margin over Lewis would stand at a staggering 74 points. Deep data analysis reveals that the engine radiators on the SF26 still suffer from extreme thermal suffocating whenever the battery is pushed to its absolute threshold. The masterstroke from Hamilton was leveraging his immense political influence to expose how desperately the SF26 requires immediate floor modifications and revised rotary wing upgrades. While McLaren continues to struggle with aerodynamical stability and Red Bull battles the relentless complaints from Max Verstappen regarding the gearbox on the RB22, Ferrari simply cannot afford to sit idle. Vasseur has promised fresh components, yet the severe danger of altering the weight distribution and destroying crucial braking balance hangs over the factory like a dark cloud. No top-tier driver will tolerate extreme battery management when they suspect the design department is falling behind. The ultimate nightmare for both Hamilton and Leclerc is watching Mercedes permanently resolve Antonelli's reliability glitches, allowing their silver rivals to disappear out of reach. The ultimatum has been issued with absolute finality. Any minor correlation failure inside the wind tunnel during the second half of this season will forfeit the World Championship and trigger a complete structural collapse within Ferrari. Kimi Antonelli has shattered the silence to lay bare the severe psychological ordeal he endured inside the Mercedes garage by exposing the most soul-crushing reprimand ever delivered by Toto Wolff. The current leader of the 2026 World Championship, with 219 points, has revealed the terrifying confrontation that occurred behind closed doors following the Italian Grand Prix in 2025.
The thing is, I knew if Kimi was going quicker, he wasn't going quicker by half a tenth. That's never been the case all season. So, again, I guess it just hurts when you see a car go 4 tenths quicker. But he's done a good job, and I'm still happy with the P3. Honestly, I'm still pretty pleased to be here. It's just a shame I have a 10-place grid penalty, so I won't be anywhere close to here tomorrow morning.
Focusing on
this meticulously guarded paddock secret proves that the aggressive dressing down went far beyond acceptable professional boundaries, sparking a deep crisis of self-belief that nearly annihilated the career of the young Italian prodigy before his journey even properly began. The absolute technical truth behind this rift stems from the costly data anomalies and structural damage Antonelli caused at Monza. Following his high-speed crash during practice in 2024 and severe wheel lockup entering the Ascari chicane in 2025, Toto Wolff imposed severe disciplinary restrictions upon the rookie. High-level telemetry leaks confirmed that the team principal strictly restricted Antonelli from accessing aggressive engine mapping settings for subsequent races, effectively forcing the driver onto the track with overwhelming anxiety. This forced hesitation at the brake pedal cost him 0.3 of a second per lap due to balance instability across the rear axle. This harrowing humiliation fundamentally altered Antonelli's approach throughout the current 2026 season. Even whilst commanding the championship standings with a comfortable margin over Lewis Hamilton, the driver confessed that he still feels constrained behind the wheel of the Mercedes W17 chassis. The psychological scars nearly derailed his adaptation to the radically redesigned power units, featuring a 50-50 split between internal combustion and electrical output. Whenever the motor generator unit kinetic demands an instantaneous release of 469 brake horsepower, the slightest hesitation in corner entry causes instant rear lockup and loss of aerodynamic control. While Toto Wolff's ruthless approach served as a brutal wake-up call, it created an undeniable emotional fracture between the driver and senior management. Antonelli made it abundantly clear that he was driving under extreme fear, constantly haunted by subtle threats directed at his racing contract. The fundamental question remains whether the team can withstand a relentless assault from Ferrari, should the young driver falter again under pressure. Antonelli might be leading the title race today, but he carries deep scars from the most vicious judgment of his professional career. And if the machinery fails him during the high-stakes final stretch, the specters of that confrontation will return to dismantle his title ambitions forever. The internal crisis at McLaren has exploded catastrophically right before the summer shutdown following the humiliation suffered by Oscar Piastri during the Hungarian Grand Prix.
¿Esperas que sean los rivales mañana? ¿Creéis que puedes estar peleando con los Alpine o es más el defender la posición con los Haas y con la gente de atrás?
Nosotros tenemos una carrera particular ahí con los Haas que vamos más o menos al mismo ritmo. El Alpine va 3 o 4 décimas más rápido, el Audi 6 o 7, el Vicar 1 segundo. Por lo tanto, el año pasado cuando en Q1 y en Q2 estábamos todos en 2 o 3 décimas, una muy buena vuelta y una mala vuelta del rival te ponía en Q3 y al otro en Q1.
While Lando Norris secured an emphatic victory through a devastating overcut strategy, the Australian was plunged into total operational chaos. Explosive paddock revelations confirm that McLaren is preparing a major upgrade package for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza on the MCL40 chassis that openly favours the aggressive driving style of Norris, whilst condemning Piastri to an unprecedented technical downfall.
Este año que hay 1 segundo de diferencia del uno de los peores del midfield al mejor del midfield, puedes hacer la vuelta de tu vida y ellos hacer una vuelta malísima que sigues a medio segundo. Entonces, desgraciadamente este año se han abierto esos gaps. En Williams estamos sufriendo mucho con esta generación de coche, no la conseguimos evolucionar como nos gustaría y pues desgraciadamente pues estamos el 15 y mañana seguramente acabaremos por ahí a no ser que pase algo a muchos coches del top 10 y de repente podamos conseguir algún puntito.
Telemetry analysis from the MCL40 exposes a critical integration flaw within the new active rotating rear wing concept. Following the high-risk engineering path pioneered by Red Bull, McLaren retained a central hydraulic actuator designed to rotate the upper flap during high-speed straight-line modes. The catastrophic technical defect lies in a lethal response delay when closing the mechanism upon entering heavy braking zones. Airflow requires extra fractions of a second to reattach to the aerofoil profile, entirely destroying rear axle downforce. Norris manages to mask this instability through aggressive corner entry, whereas Piastri's smooth and neutral handling technique transforms into a terrifying nightmare of snap-over steer. Norris is utterly dominating Piastri in qualifying sessions by 7-4 and sweeping sprint events by 4-0. Aerodynamic data gathered during opening practice in Hungary proved that this updated wing structure forces earlier braking inputs to prevent violent high-speed spins identical to those experienced by Max Verstappen in Austria and Silverstone. If Piastri is forced to brake meters earlier to maintain control, he will surrender up to 0.3 of a second per lap, effectively cementing his status as a permanent second driver. The tension within the factory at Woking has reached a breaking point, with upcoming races at Zandvoort and Monza requiring absolute precision. Piastri faces a devastating career crossroads. The Australian is confronted with an engineered disadvantage that threatens to destroy his title aspirations entirely. Should senior management proceed with this perilous developmental direction without adapting the chassis mechanics to suit both drivers, Piastri will be completely eliminated from championship contention, sparking an irreversible collapse in driver trust that could fracture the team for years to come. Max Verstappen has become the focal point of a devastating internal accusation following a series of furious radio outbursts during the recent Hungarian Grand Prix. The Dutch driver screamed over team radio channels that his Red Bull 22 chassis was utterly unmanageable due to violent mechanical jolts occurring during rapid gear downshifts.
And do you have a date in mind?
No, there's nothing to say
So
from my side.
So full commitment to Red Bull 2020?
I said there's nothing to say.
Former Formula One driver Christijan Albers launched an uncompromising live broadcast critique against Verstappen, directly accusing him of displaying unprecedented self-centeredness while publicly humiliating the 1,000 dedicated factory workforce members in Milton Keynes. Albers declared that Verstappen crossed an unforgivable boundary by broadcasting sensitive technical friction to a global television audience of millions. The underlying mechanical reality reveals that the Red Bull 22 suffers from an aggressive electronic conflict between the internal combustion engine braking systems provided by Red Bull Powertrain's Ford and the hybrid energy recovery deployment delivering 469 brake horsepower. During heavy deceleration phases, this violent torque transition causes immediate mechanical locking across the rear axle, completely destabilizing the chassis geometry through corner entry points. Albers highlighted that no elite competitor displays such destructive public behavior towards their own engineering personnel, exposing the complete failure of senior advisor Helmut Marko to manage this internal operational chaos. Comprehensive telemetry analysis confirms that these sudden transmission lockups severely disrupt the intricate underbody airflow beneath the floor, destroying crucial ground effect downforce precisely when aerodynamic balance is required most. The recent high-profile departure of lead race engineer Giampiero Lambiase to rival team McLaren has only exacerbated this volatile atmosphere inside the garage, leaving radio communication channels dangerously hostile. Despite securing a second-place finish in Hungary purely through clever pit-stop strategy, Verstappen confessed to handling an utterly intolerable vehicle for 80% of the Grand Prix distance. This scathing assessment from Albers has sounded immediate alarm bells throughout the engineering headquarters at Milton Keynes. Senior team management recognizes that failing to deliver mechanical stability could permanently destroy their relationship with their star driver, driving him directly into the arms of rival teams. If the technical department fails to harmonize the electronic engine braking parameters before the upcoming home race at Zandvoort, this relentless radio fury will transform the pit garage into an absolute living nightmare, shattering any remaining team cohesion beyond recovery.